Welcome back, everybody. This is the Renegade Fight. I am your host, RDJ, and this is the continuation of Florida State Honors Week. And of course, as we know, the last two episodes that we had, and including this episode, it is featuring the top Florida State football players and coaches, legends, just players that made an impact on the program and the leg and continuing legacy of keeping Florida State football alive and well. And this is day three right here. And I want to apologize to you for not coming on a little earlier in the past days. We were having some technical difficulties, so we're back up and running, and everything is in order. So we're going to get started right here. And the first person on day three of Florida State Honors Week is quarterback Chris Winkie. Chris Winkie played for the Florida State Seminoles from 1997 to 2000. Chris Winkie is one of the greatest quarterbacks in Florida State history. He is the second Seminole to win the Heisman Trophy. He set 26 school records while at Florida State, uh, and he is also a national champion. He also holds awards such as the Davy O'Brien Award, the Johnny Unitas Award, and the Golden Arm Award, all in 2000. He had all those awards in 2000. And he also has the Sammy Ball Trophy Award, also was in 2000 that he received. Chris Winkie, I remember watching him play. Exciting to always see him play because he was one of those quarterbacks that had a big arm. Not only a big arm, if he needed to, he could scramble outside of the pocket, get some extra yards. I remember also watching him. He was a quarterback that commanded the offense. He commanded the offense as far as having all his players on the team in the right order, in the right position. He knew where everybody was supposed to be. He knew also where they were supposed to be, but he knew where to put the football when it needed to get to the spot, uh, angles, or wherever he needed to do. He was one of those quarterbacks that when he touched the football field, look forward to getting a good drive to finish into touchdowns or even field goals. And right now, too, Chris Winkie, if I'm not mistaken, I think he is the quarterback coach at Georgia Tech, which he has been doing an awesome job there at Georgia Tech under the staff there and playing coaching well. He's always had some good quarterbacks there and great offenses. And just proud to see that Chris Winkie is continuing on in the coaching career and keeping his hands and stamp on college football the way that he is so done. So the next person next up is linebacker Ron Simmons. Uh, Ron Simmons played at Florida State, and he was well before my time. But I do remember him, uh, seeing pictures of him playing, and he was what you call a trailblazer. He was a dominant defensive player, and he was the first black player in Florida State football history to have his jersey number retired. He's a leader, a powerful player, and he broke barriers. Not only did he break barriers, he laid a foundation for future generations there at Florida State, um, for the great Noles to come there after he. Ron Simmons, as I say earlier, I did not get to see him play in person or something like that, anything like that, because I was just too young. But I can tell you a few more stories about Ron Simmons in my later years. I am also a wrestling fan growing up. Started watching wrestling when I was 10 years old, maybe nine. But I don't watch it as much as I do now, but I did watch wrestling in the mid to late 80s and all of the 90s. And Ron Simmons was what you call a awesome wrestler. He was under the leadership of Dusty Rhodes and Sting. He was in that era of Ric Flair in the 80s with the NWA, which changed over their name to WCW. Ron Simmons was a world heavyweight champion uh, for WCW. He had great battles with uh, Big Van Vader. He also had great battles with Lex Luger, who is now being inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Lex Luger. Ron Simmons was one of those players and wrestlers that when he touched the mat, touched the football field, he dominated and he let opponents know that, hey, I'm here and I'm here to put my stamp on whatever I'm doing and I will be the greatest. And he carried that over from Florida State football days all the way into his wrestling career. So Ron Simmons is on this Hall of Fame Legends Week for the Florida State Seminoles. Next up is I call him athlete. I call him athlete, but he was listed as a wide receiver. And that person is Peter Warrick. Peter Warrick is arguably one of the best wide receivers in Noles history. His stats include 207 receiving, 207 receptions, sorry, 3,517 yards, and 32 touchdowns in his Florida State playing career. Peter Ward also was a great visionary. He played punt and kick return. He was an All American, a two-time All American, and a three-time All ACC uh, player. And he is also a national champion in 1999. And he was also the um, Sugar Bowl MVP of that game that Florida State won the national championship in 1999. I remember Peter Ward so clearly playing there at Florida State. He was one of the players that you could take the top off of a defense. He made big plays. Not only did he make big plays, he was a deep threat at receiver. He could get shallow crosses, slant routes, stop and goes, whatever route that he needed to run to get the ball and maintain and sustain drives, get extra yards. Peter Ward was that guy. And then whenever he was like a punt kick returner, if if you remember Keon Coleman there at Florida State, Peter Ward and Keon Coleman to me was the same type of football player when it came down to playing receiver and punt and kick return. If they touch the ball, look for it to be a big game, and not only a big game, uh, uh, they were one of those players that could put the ball in position to give an offense a good short field to make plays and get touchdowns. So Peter Ward was an awesome football player, and I still watch videos of him playing, and every time I see it, it gets me excited for what's to come for the Florida State future uh, soon when the season starts. So Peter Ward is honorably one of the best receivers in Florida State history, and I'm glad that I was able to see him play. And next up is defensive back Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey kept the physical standard of playing defensive back at Florida State. Uh, he stands as a he started as a true freshman there at Florida State in 2013. Not only in 2013, he was an All-American in 2015. He is one of the best defensive backs to play at Florida State. Um, and Jalen Ramsey also got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars after his playing days. Um, there at Florida State. And yes, Jalen Ramsey is arguably one of the best defensive backs to list on there. You had Deion Sanders, who came well before Jalen Ramsey, Leroy Butler, and you had a lot of other great names to play defensive back at Florida State. And Jalen Ramsey is right there at the top of that list. I enjoyed watching Jalen Ramsey play there at Florida State. He was what you call a ball hawk safety. He could come up to the line of scrimmage and make plays. He could stay at his position and make plays. He can come and get a sack. He would play down in the box a little bit. He was one of those players that you could not throw on his side because it's either going to be an interception, a pass breakup, or just a total incompletion. Jalen Ramsey was one of those fear tacklers. He kept the standard up for Florida State into uh, saying that I'm one of the best, and he did prove that every time he stepped on the practice field and every time he stepped on the game field. I was just so excited to see him play every Saturday, and not only to see him every Saturday, I still go back and watch some old tapes and films and DVDs of Jalen as well to just to see, wow, how did he do that? And just to see how great the defenses and teams were at that time as well. So that is it for day 3, Florida State Honors Week, top football players, and we'll continue on uh, soon with the continuing days. So I just encourage everyone to like, share, subscribe. I'm RDJ. This is the Renegade Fight. And also find us on Instagram at the Renegade Fight. We are up, running, and excited to give you new, different things to see uh, on us on Instagram. So like, share, subscribe. This is the Renegade Fight. I'm RDJ. And always go Noles. See you soon.